Hello, my name is Denise, and I thought I should let you know my journey of exclusive pumping for 2 months now because my little one was born 4 weeks early. She never was able to latch, so by the time that I tried, she was already nipple confused, so she just preferred the bottle, whines and cries every time she tries to latch on my boobie. And the few times I got her to latch, I used the nipple shield, and it was painful as it could get. So as exhausting as pumping it is, I could not get the baby to latch on my boobs. So pumping will be, so I've been exclusive pumping since I left the hospital. I thought I should share with you my journey. I pump now only about 4 to 5 times a day, and that's between 4 to 6 hours intervals. When I started, like the first month was so hard. I was pumping every 2 to 3 hours according to her feedings, and it just drained me. It was so much. Just I spent most of the time baby diaper feedings, burping, pumping, baby diaper. So I had no time for sleep whatsoever. It was so hard. I was exhausted to the point that I just hated it. But and at first I did not produce as much, but if I kept on pumping and I started producing per session, I probably produced about 10 ounces, which is not bad since she eats between 3 to 4 ounces every 2 to 3 hours. Mostly 3 hours she'll go. So she drinks about 32 ounces in a day, and I pump about 40 ounces in a day. So that leaves me about 8 ounces per day extra, which is pretty neat at the moment because I'm building my stash. I'm about 2 weeks away from getting back to work. So I have enough built. Let me show you my fridge. This is in between probably 2 days worth of milk that I have pumped. And I use the Medela pump. So I have several bottles here. It's probably 5, 10, 15, 20, about 25 ounces there that I have to freeze. I have my freezer downstairs. But here's where I start my freezing process, and then I make a break and then send it downstairs. So at the moment I have to just take this bag downstairs, which is my frozen milk. Since work starts in about 2 weeks or so, I need enough so I could drop it off with my person that's gonna take care of the baby while I'm at work. Let me show you my pump. And again, I'm pumping now every 4 to 5 hours. I'm trying to start building my routine of work pump. And I'll get back once I start working. I kind of whisper because my little one is doing a power nap in my room. So I'll show her to you. That's her. And again, she was born 4 weeks ahead, so she never was able to latch. My pumping station is this one in my room, of course. So I just move this to the bed every time I have to pump, and she's currently in my spot. So let me open a little light so you guys could see. I use the Medela double breast electric pump. I love it. At first it was kind of hard, and it's not something easy for the nipples. Don't let anybody tell you it's an easy process. It's exhausting and it hurt at first. I had to order some parts that I noticed. I had to get the right nipple shield, the one that came with the 24 ounce. The 24 sizing and the 27 were too large, and I didn't figure that out till a month and a half into the pumping. So I ordered the 21 because I have small nipples, just larger breasts, just small nipples. And this one did a lot better. It doesn't hurt as much anymore, and I'm able to pump more comfortably. I do have the other one, the one with the flex, the wide rim around, which is more comfortable. It's the oval shape one as well, and I prefer that one. This one's I use just in case if it's dirty, but I prefer the other one, and I'll show you in just a second. I do have a lot of bottles because between pumping and taking care of baby, it's hard to wash bottles as often. So I went ahead and bought a lot of bottles. I have the Dr. Brown's is the one I feed her on. She prefers this one just because I didn't want to deal with that much colic. And then once she hits her 4 months, I might use the Medela bottles to feed her as well. But at the moment, I just use Medela to store. As you can see, the breast bags that I use are the traditional. They're the cheapest I could find, and they store pretty well. I used to use the Kindle But the Kindle was nice, easy to pour, but cost efficiency, I use the lens now. And yeah, so I usually typically pump about 4 to 5 times a day, depending on how big my boobies get. My first pump, if you start from early in the day, I usually pump around 4 a.m. And then it varies. I typically pump between 30 minutes to an hour, depending how much milk I want to drain. And I try to drain both breasts so I don't lose my milk supplies. I know I pump for a while, but it's what worked for me anyways. And then my next pump is usually around 10:30 or 11. Then the next time I pump is around 4 to 5. And then the last pump I do for the day, it's around 10 or 11 p.m. Sometimes I add an extra pump in between, depending of how far I go before I pump the next time, just because sometimes I get busy or my breast don't feel really full. So I don't want to leave it with the pump all the time like it did at the beginning. Because at the beginning, I was pumping every 2 to 3 hours, and it was insane. I could not sleep. I was stressing. I wanted to quit so badly. So once I noticed that I was producing, I decided, let me back up, just pump longer. Because when I started the cycle, I was pumping every 2 to 3 hours between 15 to 30 minutes. And I did produce, at first I started with the colostrum, of course, and then I started pumping actual milk. It started around mostly 6 ounces per session for both total breasts. And then when I started pumping less often, more longer, and I started pumping around probably 9 ounces for total breast per session. And then now it's been about 10 ounces every session for both breasts in total. So I definitely have plenty to last me till her next feeding and next pump, and I have enough to store. That's it. I wanted you to see my life as an exclusive pumper, and I've been doing it for 2 weeks, roughly a little over 2 weeks and a half. And we'll do another video whenever I get back to work, and I'll show you my routine. Sorry, it's a little bit scattered, but when I started this process, I swear I watched so many YouTube videos because it was nice to see you're not alone. It is hard, but it's doable if you really put your mind to it. Just remember, of course, you'll burst into tears. It's stressful. Sometimes you look at your husband, you're like, ugh, why doesn't he have nipples and breast milk so he could help with this? At least when I pump in a bottle, he could help me feed her and stuff. But my baby never latched. I wish she would have. It would save me some time between, instead of pumping so many times, I could just latch her into her breast and pump the other breast. Would have saved me time. But it didn't work out the way I wanted it. But I'm happy she's healthy. She's chubby now. She did come 5 pounds, 8 ounces, and now she's about 10 pounds. So she doubled her weight within the 2 months. I cannot be more pleased. And now she's finally sleeping a little bit longer through the night. Instead of waking up every 30 minutes to 2 hours, she's officially sleeping about 4 to 5 hours. Whew, which is great. And I don't stress as much as pumping. I just think it's great she could have it. And that's what I learned. Try not to stress so much, because your body knows. And it will not produce if you're so stressed about it. If it work, if you can. There's supplements you could use, but of course, mother's milk is the best. But if it's stressing you out, supplement it so you're able to build your stash and back up and all that good stuff. It's not worth it to lose yourself, because what a baby wants is happy mom. So the baby could be happy. So take your word. As much as you wish, just breast milk. Think of you, yourself as a mom. You're not a disappointment if you can't provide breast milk, but do what is best for you and the baby. If that's supplementing, it's okay. But I'm just pretty happy I'm able to do breast milk, even though it's exhausting. And I would not recommend it for anybody, but it's pleasing to see your baby grow with breast milk. That's it. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.